I have been paying attention to the debates, always paying attention to what was the calling. Here we have the newspaper or the magazine that is already a portal. 4F, I recommend you to read it. It's very good. Posting documents for the extraordinary plenary of the Socialist Congress United of the party and the youth of 2025. And this Congress, we're doing it in the name of our President, Martín Salvador Allende. Today, 11th of September, 52 years from the fascist coup d'etat against the Chilean people, and 50 years of our eternal President, Salvador Allende, leader of our America, brave leader of our America. I recommend you to study all of these documents precisely because our party is a party, and our political movement and our big alliances, our historical bloc, there's forces and movements that are constantly in dynamics, dialectic dynamics, and in action, reflection action as a method of construction of policies and strategies, of tactics, of doctrines, of constant renovation and the changes in the world, taking the best of our ideology and our vision, our worldview, and our geopolitics as a movement, a liberation movement, the Venezuelan, and also part of the big movement of the national liberation of Latin America and the Caribbean, because we are one movement of national liberation and of building of the big homeland. And the Socialist Party of Venezuela and the great patriotic pole of Venezuela, we are part of the wave of the new independence of the 21st century, our America. Here we have these documents. I was paying attention to the document, the conferences of Mahatma Gandhi. That's how he's known in Venezuela. And of our vice president, an expert in many subjects, but today the biggest expert that we can have in the continent in subjects of fake news, lies, and the imperial power of drug trafficking. Where is the cartel that runs the world drug trafficking? And it's the cartel of the north. That's where they are. The consumers, the drug dealers, and those who benefit from the wealth of that very dirty business, anti-humane, against humanity, that corrupts the soul, that harms the head and destroys families and society. I was paying attention. We didn't have time for the conference on psychological war to come out, and other speeches from Jorge Rodriguez, but he's paying attention, and he's going to do it in social media through a podcast very soon. Greetings also to Cilia Flores, our leader of the women and the revolution, the Bolivarian revolution. I have been following all of the debates. The last time that we saw each other in the Congress, in the biggest instance of democratic power of our political forces, was in February. There, we designed in a very great way the strategy, the integral strategy for development of the plan for the homeland, and to face the electoral problems that we had this year. We went through a January that was very hot, very pretty, very moving. the whole psychological war around the 10th of January, and the result is the same that we have always conquered on January 10th. We were victorious in peace, more together, more optimistic, more decisive, and it was a defeat of the extremism and criminal fascism in the whole line. In the whole line. It was a consolidation in the ways of fighting, pacifical fighting, with no arms, using our doctrine concepts, especially for our people, but also for those guests, international guests that are listening to us. Venezuela has a strategical concept of defense, a strategical concept of the security of the country that has been built from decades, founded by our commander Chavez, who substituted completely the old concept of national security that turned our armies and our police and our state in a branch of the U.S. power to impose their vision of the internal enemy. Who was the internal enemy? The people, and who had to submit the internal enemy, the police, the military forces, and the state. So then it was an occupying state.